Welcome to H2K Infosys. H2K Infosys is a e-verify business based in Atlanta, Georgia, United States. We provide 100% job-oriented, instructor-led, face-to-face, true live online software training programs. It also includes access to cloud test lab with software tools. We provide live project for you to work on. We also provide assistance with mock interviews, resume preparation and review, and job placement assistance. H2K Infosys is trusted by so many students across the world. H2K Infosys provides world-class services in IT training with real-time project work for corporates and individuals, special IT training for MS students in the United States, software design, development, QA manual and automation, performance testing and maintenance, IT staff augmentation, job placement assistance, and tech support.
Get. That's the fundamental for any kind of testing.
In the example I'm giving, we cannot use this JUnit.
Oh yeah, that's fine. But what I'm telling you is either they are supposed to get the data from the database, or they are supposed to have the result in some other way.
So they should be able to read it from some Excel sheet or something.
Oh yeah, exactly. See, if you ask any kind of testing team, they will definitely ask you provide the result first and how to execute the test case. That's what they will ask. So you are supposed to, whenever you are creating any kind of order also, you should know how it is processing between all the modules, and they will go and verify at each and every level whether the port got activated or not, whether the port status has changed to active or not, whether the TN has allocated or not, what is the TN number that got allocated. They will verify at each and every level. So we can predict the output that needs to be compiled from our Java file. So that's not at all possible.
So in just one sentence, what will be the use of this test unit? Only for testers or for doing any testing for us?
See, currently you're taking only at this level, but you can go ahead and verify all the normal classes, whatever that we have written. Let us say you have written some EJB classes or Spring classes you have written, and you don't want to verify each and every time by restarting your container. Then you can write a test case and you can pass the data to your, let us say, your structs action class itself or your business logic itself. Each and every time when you are supposed to restart and then execute the file, then it will definitely take 10 minutes for each and every run. Instead of that, if you want to verify only the business logic, you can write these test cases and you can verify directly your service layer, your model layer. Is that fine, Vijay?
Yeah.
Give me a second, please. Let us start the next one and build XML file. Okay. ANT, which is used for generating your war files or jar files or any kind of deployment related information. It was also donated to Apache, and currently you can just download the required zip file from Apache site. I'll send you the link where you guys need to download ANT. And our Eclipse directly comes with ANT as well. So our Eclipse plugin, it will have already the ANT. If you don't have, you can just download that and you can set the ANT home. To work on ANT, you need to set the environment variable ant_home. So once you have downloaded your zip file, extract it, and you just need to pass. Let me show you. Go to Computer, Properties, Advanced System Settings, Environment Variables. Here you can see that my ANT home was set. So I have downloaded Apache ANT, and the version is 1.8.2. Once after that, set ant_home and add ant_home/bin to your path variable, just like how you have done for java_home and added to the build path. In the same way, do for ant_home as well. Once after that, execute the ant command, and you should get the output as build file build.xml doesn't exist, which means your ant path was set properly and you are able to execute the ant command. If it was not set properly, you will get ant is not recognized as an internal or external command. The same way, whatever that you have done for java_home. And it will be based on an XML file. Normally, ANT will refer the XML file as build.xml. So your ANT execution will use the build.xml as the required deployment file. There is one another deployment structure, which is Maven. ANT or Maven. Maven, it was developed on top of ANT. So it was also just like writing a .xml file, and for Maven, the name of the file is form.xml. You are going to write the XML elements, and it will be going to generate based on the commands or elements, whatever that you have written. Your ANT will be going to process, and based on your requirement, either to work on jar file or war file, EAR file, any kind of stuff. See, normally, once you have developed any web application or any kind of normal application as well, once you have developed any kind of application, you are supposed to move your code to test environment. That means you are supposed to move either jar file, war file, or EAR file to the test environment. But when we are working with Eclipse, it will generate automatically and deploy onto the web apps folder. But when we want to move to other environments, then it is not possible for us to generate from the Eclipse. So either you have the option of taking the jar file or war file from the Eclipse, from the Tomcat web apps path, and you can pass this to testing environment. You can do that, but normally this is not the proper way that you are supposed to follow. Once you have written any kind of code, the code will be checked in any kind of source control. Your responsibility is to write the code, not for deploying or building the application. Once you have developed your code, the code will be placed in source control. Source control, nothing but which will maintain all your code. It will also maintain versioning of your code. Source control will just verify some of the options that are available in source control in the coming classes, but not in full depth. Clear case, CVS or SCN, these are some of the source control tools that are available. See, once you have written your code, let us say it is a big project and you are going to write some code. You have written 10 Java files. Someone else will be going to write 20 Java files. And some other module, they're going to write some other Java file. Ultimately, you are going to build the application with all the Java files. So that means you should have a central repository for all your code along with the remaining people's code. So that's where your source control came into the picture. Source control will maintain all your code. Once you have written your code or modified your Java file, you are going to submit your changes to the source control. Once you have submitted your changes, your project manager or your lead, they will decide, they will give a deadline. Like let us say you are going to write 10 Java files. Someone will be going to write 20 Java files, 30 Java files. You are supposed to complete all the code within 2 weeks. So each and every person got 2 weeks. And once after 2 weeks, they'll specify that, hey, go and check in your code. Check in nothing but submitting your changes. Check in nothing but submitting your changes to the source control. Now, see, source control, as of now we are talking that is a tool. It is also just like a server. The server will maintain all your code. As of now, you have your local code. Let us say your system got crashed. Then how can you get all the code? Whatever that you have written, all the 20 Java files or 30 Java files, they are gone now. It's not possible to get them back. That's the reason all the projects will be maintained as a server level, at a server level, that is called your source control. And second thing is, let us say you have made some changes, 10 Java files, you have made some changes and you have sent to testing environment. And during your testing, let us say you have 10 Java files and send the testing environment your latest war file. So the latest war file will contain all the changes along with your previous code as well. Previous code, 70 Java files. Now the 80 Java files war file you have sent to testing environment, and at the testing level it got failed. It got failed. So what you are supposed to do? When you want to revert back all the 10 Java files, it will definitely take 2-3 days because you made a lot of changes in all the 10 Java files. To get them back, it was not at all possible. That's the reason you are going to inform to the source control to maintain all the versioning. Your source control will support provide another advantage, which is versioning control. Whenever you made changes, it won't delete the previous version. You are going to check out the folder or file which you want to make changes. See, whatever that I am explaining now, that is not related to ANT. This was related to only the source control. let us say our Java file is calculations.java file. We want to change some code in calculations.java file. Currently, the calculations.java file was available at the server level. Give me a second, please. Calculations.java file, it was available on the server. Yeah, once you have written the file, you have already checked in the code, and currently this file was available on the server. So once the file was available on the server, you are not going to make changes on your local copy. The reason for that is whatever the changes you made from the next time onwards, it was supposed to be available on the server itself. So that means whenever you want to make changes on the same file, first you are supposed to check out the file from the server, which means that I'm going to make some modifications for this file. Once after you made some modifications, you are again going to check in the file. Check in the file. During your check-in, you can write some notes specifying that this code change was for defect 13210 defect 6. So that means whatever the old file that was available, this will have a version on the server level. Let us say the version is 1.1, and the new file, whatever that you have checked, that will be having version 1.2. The server won't delete the 1.1 version file. Instead of that, it will keep the old copy and it will create a new one. Whenever you have mentioned that, hey, my build got failed or your application got failed, you can just go back to the source control and take all the older version files, 1.1 version. Hey, I just want those 10 files 1.1 versions because I made some changes and those changes have some issues and I don't want the latest code to be available in test environment. If you take 2-3 days and currently the war file was having some issues, so the testers can't proceed further, you should revert it back to the old one, or else you should fix it immediately. Fixing immediately, it was not at all possible for us. So only option is revert back the old war file, revert back to the old war file. So now take all the 10 files with 1.1 version and generate same war file and deploy on test environment. This is the major advantage of using source control. The first thing is maintaining all your code as a repository, and the second thing is versioning. These two are the advantages of your source control. Currently, the reason why we are discussing, whenever you have written the Java code, as a developer, you are not going to create war file, or you are not going to provide the war file to the testing environment. There will be some administrators, you can say system administrators. They are responsible for creating the war file and providing that to tester environment. So that means the war file was supposed to be created by our administrators, and it has to be created manually, not from the Eclipse. So that's the reason you are supposed to write a build.xml file and provide this build.xml to the system admins. If the admins has the capability, they'll be going to write the build.xml. In some projects, they will ask the developer to write the build.xml and provide it to them. So either of the choices based on the project managers or leads. So your build.xml file will consist of sequence of steps how to create your war file or jar file. See, as of now, what kind of a content will contain our jar file? Our jar file will contain all the class files with package structure, and it will also consist of a meta-inf folder, and inside meta-inf it will consist of a manifest.mf. Your war file will consist of web-inf folder, meta-inf folder. Inside your web-inf, it will consist of lib directory, classes directory, web.xml file. Lib directory will consist of your external jar files, and classes folder will consist of the fully qualified classes. Meta-inf, it will consist of your manifest.mf. So that means during your creation of war file, you should perform all these steps, and you need to create a war file manually by using the build.xml file. These are the elements that will be available inside our ANT build.xml file. Each and every build.xml file will contain one and only one project. Project nothing but your actual project for which you want to write the build file or deployment file. Project, you can see that the hierarchy, that is the root element, and you can specify the name of the project, and default will come back to the default again. Project will consist of a description element. You can just specify for what purpose you are writing this project. And the next one is properties. You are going to use the properties. Property nothing but normal name value pair. When you are writing the build.xml, you need to have some kind of properties. Let us say you want to refer to one directory, some build directory or some libraries. You want to refer to some external jar files which are available some different folder. So you don't want to write such type of static content within your actual war creation. So you are going to write as a separate property name value pair, and you are going to use the property name value within your actual war file creation. That's the reason you can use the property element, and the properties can be name value pair. And another thing is, let us say you have written your build.xml file, and once after that the build.xml will be distributed to some other person. So on the some other person's machine, he won't be using the same path to create the war file. Let us say you have used f:, F colon core Java, H2K March workspace, March core project. Inside your bin, you have all the class files. But if you take this full context path and if you create your build.xml and forward it to some other person, then he won't be able to get this particular path. So whenever you are writing such kind of path related stuff, you are not supposed to hard code them. You are supposed to specify as a property name value pair so that the other person can change these properties and rest of the stuff will work as it is. You can go for property name value pair, or you can refer to some property file. Property file nothing but name equal to value pair you can write, and you can directly refer that particular file. So that will be still easy when you are transferring the file to some other's machine. The next one. Each and every project can consist of any number of targets. Target nothing but, see, the purpose of writing the deployment file is to generate a war file or to generate a jar file. But to generate a war file or jar file, the first requirement is you need to have the Java files available, and you need to compile the Java files. Once after compiling the Java files, you need to write a var command, or let us say for jar. You need to write the jar command, and you need to specify the path of all Java files, and you need to specify the name of the jar file. While compiling, let us say if you need some other jar files, when we are writing our JDBC code, we need MySQL jar file. So that means you need to set the class path with MySQL jar file. So these are all several different tasks that you want to perform. You can't write it as a single operation. That's the reason ANT has divided each and every work as an individual target. You can have any number of targets within your project, and each and every target will consist of set of tasks. Task can be just like a small compiling the Java files, or generating the jar file, or generating the var file. One target can depend on another target as well. See, when you want to create a jar file, if you want to create a jar file, the class file should be available upfront. If the class files are not available, then you can't create a jar file. So that means jar file creation depends on compilation. So that means one task, one target can depend on another target as well. See, if without compiling the Java files, you can't create a jar file. That is a fundamental. So you are supposed to depend on another target, and you have the capability of doing that within your build.xml file. Here, the default. Now come back to the default. The default informs that what is the target that you want to start with. See, you have written several targets like compile target, clean target, clean target, initialize target. The purpose of cleaning is, let us say you want to create one more war file. So what are all the existing classes that are available? You just want to delete them and recreate freshly. You don't want to use the existing class files because you have changed some code. That means you are supposed to compile one more time. So to compile the class file, to compile the Java file, you want the clean directory available. So that's the reason call the clean method, clean target, and clean all the existing classes. Now initialization, create some directories, compile the Java files, and finally create the var file. So that means you have 4 targets available, but as you can see here, your var file creation depends on compile target, because once you have compiled the files only, you can create the var file with the fully qualified class files. To compile the class files, you need to have the directory available, so it will depend on your initialization. Your initialization, before initializing, you need to delete all the old stuff. So this will depend on your clean directory. So your clean is the startup thing. So now you need to specify which is the target that you want to start during the execution of your ANT build file. That will be specified with default attribute. So currently we have seen name default, target, description, and properties. The last one is path element. To compile the Java files, we need the class path, the dependent class path we need. Normally Java files, Java jar files, it will take from Java_home, that is fine. Let us say you are using MySQL connector Java file, jar file, or else you are using servlet jar file. If at all, if these files are not available within your class path, then your Java files won't compile properly, and that will throw class not found exception. Path is the element which will be used to set your class path, and once you have set your class path, you can use that path element. Here there is an ID available, specify some ID for that, and during your compilation or var file generation, make use of this path and compile the Java files or execute the Java files or generate the var file. So within path, you have 3 options available: path element, directory set, file set. The path element is used to refer to individual jar files. If you are referring to only single jar file, 1 or 2 jar files, go for path element. If you are referring to number of jar files that are available within a directory,
So many of our students have given testimonials on how our training programs are. You will find them on kudzu.com and on our website h2kinfosys.com. On our website h2kinfosys.com, you will also find more detailed information on who we are, the courses that we offer, what each course covers. Also, if you're interested in a demo program, please register on our homepage on the left-hand side. Just give us more information about yourself and we will send you a link for a demo class. The demo class is absolutely free. Experience our commitment by just attending an orientation workshop at no cost. Our team of faculty and advisors are here to guide you with the right information. If you still have more questions, please feel free to call us. Call us at 770-777-1269. This is a United States number. If you're calling from the UK, call us at 020-337-17615. You can also email us at training@h2kinfosys.com or h2kinfosys@gmail.com. Thank you for watching our videos. We wish you a great career in information technology.